Excuse me. Just drank some soda. Another day, another dollar. Hold up. Yeah. So what's up? Live again today. Uh, yeah. What you been up to? You got motivation? You got what up? I haven't been up to no. I've been doing shit like I've been no script. Welcome to Maricopa One. Welcome. Yeah. Sundial. Sundial growers. Gains with lags market. Well, you should know. Is Sundial growers is extremely devalued, what you can call it. All these shares are diluted. So they got companies that are literally like, what is it, Sunstream Bancorp? They go out, they purchase like 800 million shares for the price of like 80 million. I think it was like 100 million. So it's just good, like, yeah. So that's extremely diluted. So I don't know when that's gonna take off. But you live and learn. It's probably not the best play right now. I wrote down some shit. I was like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, you gotta have rules because you'll forget them. You gotta have rules. So I was like, um, never trade the opening bell. If you're too excited, you got your panties wet. Never trade the opening bell. Never move out on spikes. Always consider whether the stock has news or not. Um, shit, I wrote down more stuff, but yeah, it's like shit like that. Because there's a lot of people that have not doing this anymore, and they came for the short run and GME, AMC, and whatever. But it takes patience and it takes time and it takes dedication, and all that. So yeah, so what was happening with me is that I was trading the opening. I was like literally like putting orders like straight off the opening bell. You can't do that. You gotta let the market reveal itself to you. So yeah, it's like because you're so excited and everything, but like that's what I was doing. Like even after my AMC loss, I was still in the game. Like I was still like I had updates because I had a plan, I had a strategy, and I wasn't getting too excited. You can't get too excited. You gotta let the market reveal itself to you. It's like um, you have to have a game plan. You just can't put an order like boom straight out the bat. It doesn't work like that. That's all. Yeah, but you gotta have principles and you gotta have a plan and you gotta be patient because um shit changes and like you might be want to sign up with a prop firm or like proprietary trading or like you have margin on your account and you want to short stock or whatever. You still have to have rules. So yeah, and there's like you get the this is like MBiz Mara closed at 34.14, opened at $29. Mara. FGen is like really not liquid, extremely like not liquid. It's just not pretty, nah. And I was like on a prop firm account. Well, let's just say that I've lost, but I'm keeping it to a minimal. You got to keep your losses to a minimal. Uh, DocuSign. So yeah. So there was a time and point where I had a good stride, but you tend to lose your stride if you don't pay attention. Like you will like do everything like you will pre enter orders. You will do everything like out of like uh impulsiveness. You can't do that. Um, Pull up power, but it's harder. I'll tell you that it's harder to keep your. It's harder. Like putting an order in is easy. Was not the easy part. Is having like the principles and the rules to because those are the things that keep you in the game, the long term, like that will make your career, or that'll break you. Like for some reason, you know you can't forget them. You seem to forget them, and you just get frustrated and shit. Plug power, yeah. Look at that. Are you kidding me? So there's those little things too. Like let's say you have like a 5K account like a 3K account, there's only so much that you can make, you know, because you're not just gonna hit those numbers straight off the bat. So let's say you have like a 5K account, you're looking to make 5 to 6%, 5 to 6 points a day daily. How much is 300 out of 5,000? Percentage calculator. Shit. Percentage. I forgot how to do percentages. What is 300 out of 5,000? What? No. Yeah, no. Yeah, 5%. Let's go for 5%. Calculate. Yeah. Yeah, so 5% out of 5,000 is $250. So that sounds pretty reasonable. That sounds pretty good, you know? And there's only so long that you'll be making just 5% if you have like a $5,000 account. So probably like your first month, you'll go up quickly to 300 and then 500. 500 is like 7%, 6%. What is 7% of 5,000? That's 350. That's lower than I. 10%. 10% of 5,000 is $500. So, yeah. So, you got to go on with the plan, and you got to understand that your account, the size of your account, will limit you, and you got to respect those limits, and you got to trade within those limits. This is what's going to keep you in the game. This is what's going to keep you making money. Really, not getting too excited, not literally like putting orders like straight off the opening bell, you know, because I'm not talking like bullshit. Because you can see like I've lost, but you can see my screen catcher. You can see my 1,000 gain, my $300 gain, my whatever gains that I've had, and I've been doing this for like the past 6 months. But yeah. But if you have like a really nice day, like don't get too excited. Like you still gotta stay in within your boundaries. You still gotta stay because staying within those boundaries is what's gonna allow you to make even more money. Actually, believe it or not. So yeah. So let's say that I didn't get spanked on AMC back in February, and I had like, let's say I was like at 8K or like at 10K. What's 10% of 8,000? I would have made. I mean, yeah, like 800. That's $800. 10%. That's $1,000. 10% of 10,000. No. What? Yeah, 10,000. That's $1,000. So these metrics they will go up. As they'll go up quickly, sooner than later. But you have to follow your principles. Because if you don't follow that, you're dead. It's over for you. Always consider whether a stock has news or not. Whether a stock has news or not, you'll be able to play it on the short side and on the long side. It's easier than you think, but what's not easy is keeping those principles. That's the hard part. Following that at first. Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, but Tilray and it was ACB. Let me see the merger that they had. Tilray merger with AFA with Afria. It looks hard pass ahead of the Tilray merger. Afria stock looks like a hard pass ahead of the Tilray merger. Tilray merger won't make Afria stock any more appealing. Interesting. No, but that'll balance out the competition. Isn't that why they had the merger? What's Tilray's market cap? They have like a $3 billion market cap. $3.19 billion market cap. Or the Afria. AFA. Again, a $5.60 billion market cap. So you can buy that together. You can do the math. That's 8.79 billion. That's a 8.79 billion market cap. But what I like for SNDL was to get brought out by Charlotte's Web, and then they had to move to the U.S. Yeah, I don't know. Every stock has its day. Uh, Sundial increases commitment to Sunstream Bancorp. So this company shares are extremely diluted, undervalued. So like if you're investing in it, they're devaluing the weight of your dollar for each share. Sundial announced that it has increased its commitment to Sunstream Bancorp Incorporated. Sunstream to 188 million from its previously announced commitment of 100 million. You see, Sunstream is a joint venture between Sundial and SAF Group that will average a strategic financial and operational partnership to target asymmetrically enhanced risk return opportunities in the cannabis industry to provide exposure to a portfolio of attractive debt, equity, and hybrid investment. Initially, Sunstream expects to form a special opportunities fund with capital from the company and the SAF Group. In addition to its two commitments from third-party limited partner Sundial, expects to provide an update on third-party capital commitments within the next 60 days. Sundial is a public company with common shares traded on the Nasdaq Capital Market under symbol SNDL. Sundial is a licensed producer that crafts cannabis using state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Our craft at scale modular growing approach, award-winning genetics, and experienced master growers set us apart. Our Canadian operation cultivates small batch cannabis using an individualized room approach with 448,000 square feet of total space. Sundial's brand portfolio includes Top Leaf, Sundial Cannabis, Palmetto, and Grasslands. Our consumer packaged goods experience enables us to not just grow quality cannabis, but also create exceptional consumer and customer experiences. We are proudly Alberton, headquartered in Calgary, AB, with operations in Olds, AB, and Rocky View County, AB. So, uh, they've been using the money that I don't know what is it about what's going on, but it looks like they've been using the money for other things, like for reinvestment or like for a merger or like just to like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why the comparison. Like that's something that I do. Like I look at non fungible tokens, and you can look at TCAT. I think that's like the only stock that I've been looking at in terms of non fungible tokens. You know who has non fungible tokens? This what you call her? Sophie Brazox. I don't know the chick that Drake, the bitch that Drake got pregnant. Like she's an artist though. She sells her art. Like they set up a auction. That auction, like is a non fungible token. So she has a piece of art, and I think I don't know how they do it. Where it's like they license them and like they brand them, I guess, and like they take like a collection of artwork, like let's say I don't know, like that's what I'm thinking, like probably like 1,000 pieces of artwork, all valued like around like 30,000, 50,000, or like collection of like I don't know, like probably like 100 different artists, and like well like yeah like with notoriety such as hers, like Sophie knows better on Instagram. What was I gonna search up? And like they just oh yeah, TCAT. They just that's a non-fungible token. Don't you love like look at what TCAT does? Like isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? Like it goes from 29 shoots $39. It shoots up to 37. That all happened within 40 minutes from 10:15 a.m. to 10:55. Isn't that nice? Like I wish I had like I wish I had money like 5K. Just catch that move right there. Isn't that nice? Like it is hard keeping motivation. It's not easy. Like when you go up through these ups and downs and like you first starting doing this shit, it's not easy. Uh, because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like when you have money, like for me, like when my money like when my account was like at 6K and like 5K, like I was motivated. Now that I've lost, it gets harder. It doesn't get easier when you lose. It just gets until you get there again, it's not easy. So, but I know I will get there again. And then you look at proprietary trading. You got to get funded. It's not easy. But I know that what I've done and what I did works for me, and I know it will continue to work. It's just you will go through trials and tribulation. Like this shit will knock you on your head, and it'll have you saying like, "Do I want to do this?" Like, if this shit sucks. Like, no, it doesn't suck. It's just it takes work, and it gets real out here. So stay in the game because it's worth it. So yeah, NFT, NFT stocks. Oh, they had oh shit. I took a screenshot of it. I had a non fungible token, like it was like an ETF that I saw last week. I think it was like over the weekend. I forgot. Let me see. No, nope. Let me see my screenshots. Hold on. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, like it hasn't been easy, but I have my days. But for you to implement those rules and stay consistent, it's not straight up. It's not gonna be straight up. It's not gonna be like a straight up trajectory. Like you will face some challenges. Oh yeah, no, that's not an ETF. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's GBTC. 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 Look at that. I like this. And just like just those little things, like not getting too excited straight off the opening bell. Like, cause like if that does happen, like it'll mess up everything. Like you will completely forget everything, and you will think to yourself like what everything you're doing is wrong. Just if you're doing it the wrong way, if you're not following your principles and those things that that keep you safe, that keep you in the game, that keep you disciplined. If you don't follow your rules, because every day you're not gonna come in and just gonna trade the opening bell. You're just gonna put an order in and you're gonna be like up like $200. It's not like that. It can be like that. Sometimes it even is like that, but it's not like that 100% of the time. Like 80% of the time, 90% of the time, you're gonna have to like not. You're gonna have to like hold your water. You're gonna have to hold your shit. You're gonna have to let the market reveal itself to you. Don't trade the opening bell and just let everything run smoothly. Because you got to go in with a plan. You got to see the pattern. You gotta set up the trade. You cannot just like put an order straight out the bat. It's just 95% of the time, 90%. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna go down like that. And if, and it gets frustrating because things change, things happen. And that's part of the business. So yeah, let me see. NFT stocks. Three overvalued NFT stocks to avoid by stock news. But what I like about this is I don't know, like I just know it. I'm gonna get out of this. Like I just know it. Like I feel it. Like non-fungible tokens (NFTs) have gained considerable prominence over the past few months by serving as a gateway for young investors on the crypto block while taking advantage of global technical and artistic innovations. While these digital collectibles are selling at high premiums, there are plenty of risks associated with NFT investment frenzy. And naturally, we think overvalued NFT stocks should be avoided. Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment, HOFV, Synod, Synonym, Synodyme, NASDAQ listed, SIDM, and the Lakewood Media Group, YVR, are three such stocks. Read on. The excitement among investors around non fungible tokens has exploded this year. The enthusiasts spending big sums of money on artwork and other digital items. NFT systems usually rely on the Ethereum blockchain. The NFTs are attached to brands or even people that are expected to gain in the coming years, ranging from tech websites to TV networks. NFTs are gaining popularity in every industry. However, there is little doubt that the latest NFT craze is fueled by speculators and not enthusiasts. Non fungible tokens are digital assets that represent a wide range of unique tangible and intangible items, from collectible sports cards to virtual real estate and even digital sneakers. But behind the positive picture of this blockchain game lie quite a few risks. Confusing hype, the whims of rich collectors, and the potential of fraudulent actors could add to investors' risks and the budding space. The NFT marketplace is one which has both the potential for incredible success and catastrophic losses. As such, we believe overvalued NFT stocks, Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment Company, HOFV, Cinedigm Corp, and the Lakewood Media Group Ltd, YVR, which are caught up in the frenzy, should be avoided now. So yeah, that speaks for itself. NFTs. So if you're somebody like Drake's baby mother, she's making bank off this shit. If you're somebody like, I don't know, I'm not like Logan Paul. Don't Doesn't Logan Paul make money over NFTs? Isn't he like a huge investor? Like he sells like packs of like vintage Pokemon cards on eBay for like 10,000, 50,000. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is why these things actually have a contract. Like they're like these aren't non-tangible assets. Like, this is just like it has to have like something like of excitement, like something. So yeah, that's NFTs for you. HOFV Entertainment. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. Look at that. This is within my market. This thing opened at around 385, $3.85. Went up to 428. Look at that. So you can have a good, you know. It seems liquid. It seems nice. You know. I mean, I can have NFTs if I can find my high school drawings. Like I have some really nice drawings, like some really nice drawings, but they're on paper. But it doesn't matter. It's a piece of artwork, and I sold it right now. Like Google Leads and Google Ads are so confusing to me. It's like you have to have like a specific like I don't understand. I don't understand that. This is why YouTube is the best platform. 'Cause you don't gotta go through any of that shit. Like it says like you're an accountant, you're a doctor, you're this, you're that. Like it doesn't have no like maybe you could be a fitness instructor, a barber. Like Google Leads is something else, man. Google Leads is something else. I don't understand it though. I need to study that more as I'm out here to make money. This stock looks liquid. Like it looks like it's popular. Like HOFV. Nope. Investing.com. SIDM. Let's look at SIDM. Take a screenshot of that. SIDM. Mm. The thing about NFTs is that they take off quick. I mean, TCAT has like a $277 $277 million market cap, and that each share is valued like at $24. I mean, no, it went up to 37 today. They have like such a high share value for its market cap. It's ridiculous. Like, and then you have Sundial has like a $2 billion market cap. Let me look at Sundial. It's ridiculous. Like this shit is just like so. If you're in the mud right now, like don't get too frustrated because you're gonna come out on top. Has like nearly a $2 billion market cap. SNDL. That's 1.91 billion. So if you have rules, just stick to your rules, stick to your plan. You're gonna go long and you're gonna short the market. You're gonna don't worry, like you're gonna make you don't worry. You know, you're gonna capitalize on the hype and you're gonna come out if whatever situation or if you're in that situation. If you know somebody who's in that situation, stay in the game. Stay in the game. Hold your head up. YVR. YVR again. It's ridiculous. Like it really is ridiculous. Like these non-fungible tokens. That's why these things like they literally like have contracts. Like you look at Graham Stephan, that's his name. Like that guy, like he brought like he purchased because just like Ethereum, you can purchase it through Bitcoin and Ethereum, these types of artworks. He said like he purchased like $50,000 worth, or like I think I forgot how much he purchased. But then like he lost like at least like 40%. So he was down like so like 25. He was down like 30,000. I think it was like 90,000 within a week, like one day. And he saw like you can like literally like sign a contract for these things. A sign, I forgot whatever the hell you fucking call it. Uh, shit. Here we go. This is absurd. Like the absurdity.
It starts out, we hit 1 million. Oh my God, this is amazing. Then we break the record of 6.6, and we're like, and we just go quiet. Everyone was just watching silently as it just kept going.
That's what I do. Like the internet is so.
So if any of the 33 bidders,
it's so rich right now, and anything. You just have to. You just have to have like an idea, and you can make money like overnight. This shit is ridiculous, my guy.
Bid again in the final 3 minutes, it would reset. So it gave everyone a chance to move around the board.
You just have to have the motivation
until they had their final price. Ultimately, you know, we all just sat there.
Like at the long term,
1 to 6 to 11, and we were like,
and the details,
stop,
whatever it is.
And I was just like, I didn't even know what to do. So that was my weekend last weekend. Welcome back to the 43rd ever Iced Coffee Hour. My name is Blau, and so far the podcast has made $46,000.
That was great.
Wow,
that was
the
good.
best one yet.
Yes.
I'm trying, guys.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much for coming on today. This is really exciting. It's crazy, and we're neighbors.
Yes.
And we're neighbors.
Finally. Because we've been texting back and forth, not texting, DMing on Instagram for a while. Remember, I met you a long time ago at Nate's concert, Audience.
Oh, dude,
a long time ago.
Remember that? Yes, I do.
Yeah, we met once, and then I think we followed each other on Instagram for a while. Went back and forth for like a year.
Through the Carrot guys as well.
Yes.
Because I saw that, and we all have mutual friends. So now you're in Vegas. How do you like it?
I love it here. It's so nice. I prefer it here. The only thing I'm not used to yet is the dry weather. So I wake up and like my mouth is just like really dry, as soon as it,
You'll get
like,
used to having like multiple fridges around the bedroom instead of going back to the kitchen. Like it's useful. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. The house is big, so it's twice the size of the place in LA. And it's weird to have to like wake up and be like, oh, the kitchen is like 50 feet that way. It's
I'm telling
strange.
you, fridge in the bedroom solves all the problems, man. No, but that's the beauty of being in Vegas versus LA. I mean, the value here for what you get is incredible.
Yeah. How long have you lived in Las Vegas for?
I actually dropped out of school before my senior year. I was 19 or 20 years old at the time. I don't remember. And I moved back in with my parents because my DJ career was just exploding on the internet. This is back in like the YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook days, before Spotify even existed. And I lived with my parents for about 6 months, and I said, I can't handle this. I got to get my own place. So I dropped out junior year from WashU in St. Louis, and then I moved into Queensridge Tower condo because I was moving around. I'm traveling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want the responsibility of a home. Finally, I got so lucky. I wanted a backyard, and before COVID hit, January of last year, screw it, I want a place with a backyard. Bought the house, and then COVID hit, and I'm so thankful that I have a backyard now versus being stuck in a condo tower during this quarantine. So great blessing in disguise, and now we're neighbors.
Yeah. You've had a very successful career in music, and one of the reasons why we want to bring you on as soon as possible, you just sold $11 million in one night of your album NFT.
Yes, 11.7. And I like to say that it's not one night. It was really 4 years of work to get to
fair
where
enough.
it's today.
Sure.
Good
Okay.
point. But good point. To everyone who's seeing it online, they're like, 48 hours, $11.7 million. How did this even happen?
Yeah.
And I'd
How
love
did
to tell
this
you the
happen?
story.
Tell the story.
Sure.
Remember to simplify it for
Of
Jack,
course.
so Jack could follow along with this.
Easy.
Simple.
So the story is fun. We won't go technical at all. We'll do some Gary Vee references because he explains some of this stuff very well.
Okay.
It all started. The beginning of the story is my favorite. It started in Mexico where I met the Winklevoss twins, who, of course, the Winklevoss twins of Facebook.
How do you start a story of just like, oh, Mexico, Winklevoss twins? I feel like there's a story within the story.
Well,
So the Winklevoss twins.
3Loud sells record-breaking 3.6 million NFT and first ever tokenized album sale. The electronic music vet and cryptocurrency pundit broke the record NFT sales with over 11 million in total bids. Okay, back to the video.
Twins famously discovered Bitcoin in Ibiza, which is already crazy. And funny enough, that was long before I met them. And then I met them in 2014. I was playing a spring break music festival, opening up for Avicii at the time. Rest in peace, Avicii. And the Winklevoss twins and I just bonded because I have a background in finance. In college, I studied index derivatives and economics. Right. We don't have to get into that. But I met them in Mexico. They invited me to stay at their place in LA during Grammy week just because they love dance music. They had a studio in their house. They're like, come use our studio. We love your music. I was like, sure, I'll come hang out with you guys. At the time, they were building their crypto exchange called Gemini. And I was first discovering what Bitcoin was in 2014. And I was fascinated by this idea of permissionless and frictionless value transfer. To simplify that, you don't have to wait. You can send money on the weekend without waiting for the bank. Yeah, what Venmo does, but with crypto, right? That was just so fascinating to me because banks are pretty inefficient. Sending money across the world is kind of hard. Other families, especially families that move to the United States that immigrate that want to send money home, it's very difficult to do that. And so this idea that you can do it via the internet, this magical internet money could exist, blew my mind in 2014. And that's when I made my first Bitcoin investment. Fast forward to 2017. We saw what you guys probably all know as the ICO boom, the altcoin boom, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people made a lot of money on speculative ideas that really had barely any merit in the sense that they were just ideas. Kind of like what we saw in the .com era with everything was just a website. No matter whether you needed a website for it or not, everything was going to have a website.
Right.
So I was already kind of involved on a simple investment level from 2014, but in 17, I saw a lot of projects that made grand promises and had no execution. So I had this very grand idea called Our Music Festival. The idea is really simple. You pool a bunch of people's money. The people who pull the money get to pick the lineup for the festival, and then they get to share in the profits of all the tickets sold. But with a cryptocurrency, right? That was the concept. Of course, we learned after I hired great lawyers that would be a security token and it would be illegal to do an ICO in that way. So we never did an ICO. I just raised equity for this company. And And we threw a giant festival with Zed, Big Sean, myself, with simple wallet crypto rewards at the festival with QR codes. It was like kind of a playful game. And it worked out great. But at the time in 2017, 2018, the regulatory environment was uncertain. The laws surrounding this stuff were hard to really comply by. And I just wanted to do the right thing. So we shut down the company and moved on. But through that process, I made so many relationships with incredible people in the crypto space, one of whom, Michael Saylor, who wish you would have been on that call, but we'll get you on with him again.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't able to make that.
Yeah. He's brilliant when it comes to how he thinks about Bitcoin. But I've also had the pleasure of meeting Fred Arison, one of the founders of Coinbase, who's a friend of mine, who's been kind of coaching me through what's happening right now.
Are you in the IPO?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not.
I want to get in. If somebody could get me in on that.
Listen,
gosh, I want to so badly.
Be a big one. That's going to be a big one.
Okay.
I could always ask him, but I wouldn't even want to ask him that question. It's a little bit too
fair.
But no, but Fred now actually started his own fund when he left Coinbase called Paradigm, and famously turned 300 million into what is now probably worth 4 billion since March of last year. He took a big bet when crypto crashed, right when COVID hit. He was like, "This is the chance." He took the fund's money, poured it into Bitcoin, and just won big. And there's a Forbes article about it. And Fred's, in my opinion, one of the smartest people in the entire blockchain space. And so he's been a trusted friend and advisor. So I'm talking to him tomorrow about how to, proceed with this NFT thing in the right way. So now let's get to why we're all here today. $11.7 million for the tokenized version of my debut album, which is called Ultraviolet. And the concept behind that was creating a collectible edition of something that's digital. What people really are confused about when they think about what an NFT is, they say, well, I can copy this file as many times as I want. So why do I pay for an NFT, right? It's free. And the equation is very simple. The best analogy I like to give is the Honus Wagner baseball card, or even a Pokemon card, great example. I could easily recreate a holographic Charizard. It would cost me like $100. I find a company to print it, make a fake one. So why is it that the real one is worth $250,000, $350,000 when the fake one costs about $100 to make? Because there's emotional, sentimental value in owning something that's authentic. So now when you apply that to the blockchain, to keep it as simple as possible, you have an official edition of a media file versus an unofficial edition of a media file. And if you give people the ability to show off their collection, basically show off that they supported this artist or supported this piece of content, they are excited by the emotion of owning that content. Now, they might not own the IP rights or anything like that. They're just excited to say, I supported this person in their digital creative endeavor. The same way we see people tipping on Twitch, the same way we see that happening across the internet in a lot of other ways. And so for all of you listening who don't know what an NFT is, the simple version is, the acronym is non-fungible token. But what it really means is it's just a digital certificate of authenticity, like a land deed, but on the blockchain. So that really applies, but once you kind of understand what a digital certificate of authenticity means, it literally applies to everything, not just art. Art is kind of the first step.
So what did you sell exactly? What did people bid? I think the top bid was 3.6 million dollars.
666.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know the person who bid that top bid?
Funny enough, I did not. The top bidder has kept his identity anonymous, which is very
Still.
Well, I mean, I have his email address, but beyond that,
but he wouldn't think to be like, yo, let me get on the phone with
He's
you.
probably a pretty big fan, right?
Like a lot of people who participate in this stuff really prefer anonymity because the amount of money that they made in crypto, and they prefer to remain anonymous. A lot of them have pseudonyms. And Whale Shark, who got the number 2 position and ended up spending 2.5 million, has a very big public presence, but no one knows who he actually is underneath his pseudonym Whale Shark. So he's got a Discord group.
I'm so curious.
4,000 collectors.
Oh,
we can dive into who these people are and what they're doing, but because I don't know who Bidder 65 is, 64, I forget. Whale Shark, though, and I had a relationship prior, and we talk a lot about collectibles and art, and I was very surprised by his just excitement about this. And now, he was the one featured in the Forbes article because I was able to introduce him
Right.
at least on email to Forbes and yeah. So
What do they get?
what do they get?
Yes, explain.
But first, we have a quick word from our sponsor, Ladder. Life is full of reminders of its beauty, whether I'm chilling by the pool, swimming some laps, or just having a good time making videos about life insurance. Experiences like these are great reminders of how beautiful life is and exactly why it should be protected. On that note, it makes sense why people get life insurance, especially long-term coverage, which is surprisingly affordable. Why not pay a little bit each month to protect the ones that you love? If you're asking yourself this question, choose Ladder. Ladder makes it impressively fast and easy to get covered. All you need is a few minutes, a phone, or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithms work in real time, so you'll find out instantly if you're approved. There are no hidden fees, and you can cancel at any time. And since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So lock in your best rate today and get your family covered with Ladder. Go to ladderlife.com/iced coffee. That's ladder, LADDER life.com. So and back.
But that's not an asset. You're just listening to that within Spotify. Imagine you have, think about the old days with real records. If you went to the record store and they had no more Nirvana vinyls, you couldn't even listen to Nirvana. So these records would trade in the aftermarket for crazy amounts of money. Now today you can obviously still listen to any song on my album by going to Spotify, but it's impossible to verifiably own an official signed copy on the blockchain of that song. So what people bought were audio-visual pieces of art that I created, digital art with the music in the background. But they also bought a vinyl NFT, which is redeemable for a real-world vinyl. So they bought this, digital asset that they can use to, as a basically coupon to get one of the 33 vinyls from my album, and they're the only 33 vinyls we will ever print. Now, vinyls historically have had crazy resale value, right? And so a lot of this is the idea that I've only made 33 vinyls of my album. My album has accumulated over 100 million streams. And so some people probably bought the collection for the vinyl. Some probably bought it for the collection of song NFTs, these official editions of the song. But I kind of surprised people in the middle of the auction and said, the top 6 people get all access passes to any show ever that I play in the future.
Mm-hmm.
What's the value of being backstage at EDC, right? Not many people get that kind of access. And so my feeling is that people just wanted to participate in this auction to show that the music business is about to change in a huge way. These people all who bid on this, who ended up in the top 33, which I had no idea it was going to go this way.
What did you think? What do you think it was going to sell for?
I would have been happy at $500,000 because my last drop we did was $250,000.
Yeah.
The auction mechanic, and this is like, you don't have to dive too deep into Nash equilibrium game theory economics. I'm a math guy. We don't have to go there, but I designed this auction mechanic specifically for this reason, but I didn't expect it to succeed the way it did. But the reality is all these people, they didn't just buy the digital collectibles. They bought a statement. They bought a statement to the music industry that artists have power to monetize themselves without a record label. People believe in that vision.
So they don't get to own the rights to the song.
But that's next.
That's next.
Like
Which
licensing.
we can talk about. Imagine a world. So this is step 1. Owning a piece of unique digital content that you can't replicate it because it's code on the blockchain. It will only ever exist as that, can't be duplicated. That's what an NFT means. It's just a code that represents ownership in something. Where this goes in the future, imagine you can invest in your favorite song and then collect a royalty on that song. Imagine you can invest in an artist that you like in my case, the Chainsmokers and Millennium, both opened for me back in the day in my career. I believed in Millennium so hard when we started, just when we met. And Millennium is very excited about doing his first NFT launch, which I don't want to reveal too much. But Millennium, if I could have invested in Millennium's music back when I believed in him, the royalties that I get from that today would be immensely valuable, right? I would own a piece of the IP. Now, the reason why that can't happen today is because of the regulatory environment, which is too technical. We don't have to go there. But that's the next step of this, actually owning rights in the music as a fan. Then you don't need a record label anymore because you could fundraise from fans.
How did you come up with the idea to do this?
This is something I've been thinking about for 6 years.
Before NFTs were even a thing.
Yeah. I've been an independent artist my whole career. I've never given up. I've given up rights on some of my songs.
Yeah.
Like I did a song with Ninja, and Ninja put this together with Astroworks, which is underneath a major record label, right? So I couldn't really tokenize that song without their permission. But my last album, I owned all the master rights. So I have the ability to do whatever I want with it. And I had that vision for my whole career, and I was always in the public, like encouraging people to own their master rights, because then you can control your own music. A lot of artists that are going to want to be into music NFTs now aren't going to be able to with their old music because they're in a record deal. And the record labels going to want to take what they typically take is 80%. Imagine if like 11.7 million that I did, 80% went to a record label. Oh my God.
Do you have to split that NFT cost with like, because I know like some of the NFT companies out there will take like 50%. Did you create your own or?
So that's also why I created this on my own website with a company that I invested, a crypto company that I invested in, so that I wouldn't have to pay crazy fees.
Wow.
So that's how it works. But I've been involved in this world for years, and having it come to fruition the way that it did at this moment in time in the universe when everyone's been quarantined and people are moving to the digital world in such an extreme way, it was a moment. And Logan kind of had a similar moment. And Grimes did 5.5 million in NFT sales, and and Beeple had Beeple sold. For those of you who aren't familiar with Beeple, let's talk about Beeple for a second because he is also a pioneer here. Beeple was a digital artist who had a huge Instagram account for a really long time, like just lots of followers, never really got paid fairly for this work that he did that he spends hours and hours and hours on. And he sold a piece for the election. It was this brilliant concept. It was a programmable digital art, where if Trump won, it would turn one way. If Biden won, it would turn another way. So when Biden won, the NFT it changed states, right? It became the Biden video clip, the Biden victory video clip after the election. And that piece sold for $66,000 originally. It sold for $6.6 million 2 days ago.
Do you worry that we're in a bit of a bubble?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think that it's the same with the real art world. So when people, I'm sure you all have seen, or maybe the Japanese billionaire who bought a $100 million Basquiat painting.
Was that the one on his Amex?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's possible.
Yeah.
A Japanese
I think
billionaire.
so.
It's possible.
I'm pretty sure he bought it on the Amex to get the points.
Listen, if
believe it or not, believe it or not, you're gonna find the article, put it up here.
That's genius.
I'm pretty sure he got the points on the card.
You're probably right. But what is the value of a Basquiat painting? It's what did it cost him to make it? Does the canvas cost $100 to paint? What are you buying when you buy it? You're buying a feeling. You're buying an emotional connection to a piece of art that someone else made. There's no other reason why you would pay $100 million for something that you could replicate. If you go on Amazon right now, this is my favorite example. You can go on Amazon and buy the Mona Lisa. You know how much it costs? $53. It's exactly the same as the original Mona Lisa, same size, to the T. It's exactly the same. But why would you want to own a fake Mona Lisa?
But wouldn't you argue that those pieces of art have had probably 100 years to appreciate? I don't think those pieces just went from being worth, let's say, $6,000 to $6 million in a year.
Right. I think that appreciation is pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that people believe in Beeple as being like the first pioneer of this entire movement, and that's why after that sold for $6.6 million, he actually has an auction going on with Christie's right now that I think, don't quote me on it, I think it's up to 2.8 already for another piece. So clearly there are multiple people that are interested in owning this historical work, and people are interested in owning my music in a collectible way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't deny the market. It's there. How much speculation is there? I don't know. But I know that I own a Beeple. To give you an example, I own a Beeple that was $969 that I could sell today for $170,000, but I'm not selling it. So
can I see it? Can you pull it?
Yeah.
You can become your own corporation these days. You listening to this? He's taking the record labels out of the equation with a printer and with some paper. You got a fax machine. You're set. You're set. This is you got an LLC or EIN. You're set. Like that's it. I can have an artist under my contract. Like literally, like I got a printer. It doesn't work though, but I'm gonna buy one. I got good quality paper. Like it's right here. I got the contract. This is absurd.
Yeah,
I'm so curious to see like what this looks like.
absolutely. It's a piece called Into the Ether.
Is there any way you could screen record this, or just
Yeah.
or just do a screen record? That way we
There's
can
no
just
way
put
I'm
it
not
on
making
the
this.
screen.
Hold on.
I'm so curious
I
to
have
see
to
what this
log
looks like.
my
Okay.
Craftgo. So there's another problem with the crypto universe, which is that there really isn't a good way to mobily display all this stuff yet, and everyone in crypto is building these tools right now.
Yeah, I would love to see like a digital museum, like
There's
an
some
app
people
where you
working
just
on this
you
stuff.
click on it, you could look through, scroll through the museum. Maybe you put on like a VR headset.
So
you can walk
that
around the
already
museum?
exists.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm
All right,
logging
okay.
in. This is going to take me a second to
All
log
right,
in
let's
here
see.
because I want to show you the official version. I'm not going to show you just a picture of it, right?
right, let's see.
Just logging in here. Give me a moment. But there are virtual museums, and they are sick.
All
If
right.
you don't have a VR headset, Graham, I'm buying you an Oculus 2.
I don't have a
Oculus
VR headset, so
That's
you could
just my
you
gift
could
to
buy
you.
me something. All right.
I'm getting that for you
I'm gonna
right
turn
after
down
this
free
episode.
stuff.
Give me a moment. I have to
Gosh.
approve.
It seems like everyone
I
that I've
mean,
talked to about
shit,
NFTs so
man.
far are all selling NFTs.
The only
Like, I haven't
people
talked
who
to
will
a
buy
single
that,
person that's buying NFTs.
So I'm
Like, it's
selling
just-
mine.
yeah.
I have 50 pieces that I own, and I also sell my stuff.
hardcore,
I
like
love
probably
it.
like video game
In my, like if you ever come to my
YouTubers or
house, you
like
see I have
Yeah.
digital screens all over the house that
like
I display my art on, and
video game developers, Xbox, PS5 developers would really like buy that shit. Like,
it's just like imagine that you came into my house and you looked at this TV screen that looks like a piece of art, and you're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just like an image I found on the internet." Or I'm like, "Oh, it's this artist that I bought that." And they're like, "How did you buy that?" I'm like, "Oh, I supported the artist. I bought this piece of digital art." And when you come over to my house, I
Yeah.
hope you have that experience where you're like, where you're looking around at all the screens and you're like, "Oh, Justin owns this stuff."
I would
I think
totally.
NFTs are valid. Like, I totally think it's a reasonable, like, legit thing. But at the same time, it seems like the demand is coming out of the woodworks. It's like, and maybe that's just because the whole anonymity thing, like with
I
crypto or
don't know.
anything. But
I would be the type to have a screen that would just change the picture every day. Be like,
But
yeah,
you
I
can
bought
change-
that.
But you can, but that's what you can do.
I gotta get me
Like,
some
you
good
can- all the
pens.
pieces that you own,
Right.
you can display on one screen. They don't have to be on separate screens.
No, I'm just saying I just find a random picture on Google and be like, yeah, I own that. They'll be like, what? You own the picture? No, the TV.
At some
Okay,
point,
okay.
I just gotta
someone's
fix
gonna
up the
figure
pen
out
and buy a
whether
new
or not
one.
it's legit. Unfortunately, I can't log into my account right now, so.
Oh, is it slow Wi-Fi?
But what I can do is I can
okay.
screen record this
Fair
later.
enough.
Will
Yeah,
that be
yeah.
helpful?
Fair
if I
enough,
screen record
yes.
it later for you?
Yes.
Cool. And then you'll see like the edition number, and then you'll see how much it's going for in the aftermarket, and you'll see the price that I paid.
Is there a price that you would sell that for? How much?
To be honest, I probably won't because it means something to me. I mean, maybe if you spoke to me before this latest sale, maybe I'd feel differently just
Mhm.
because of the change in my life. But even then, I probably wouldn't. There's some pieces that I would. Not every piece do I feel like is a piece for life, but like owning one of the first Beeple pieces in years from now, I mean, these things appreciate incredibly in value. Art does, real art does, and this is the first form of digital art from one of the most well-known digital artists. So I would love to pass down to my kids. That's I would like the way people have passed down Picasso's, right? I really believe that, and I know it's kind of crazy, but what I would suggest to you guys is you can buy digital art for way cheaper than some of the prices you're seeing. Find an artist that you think is interesting and just try it. Pay the $300. See if it makes you feel something, and I guarantee you it will.
What are you going to do with all the money?
But really quick, we have a word from our sponsor, Fundrise. In 2021, a truly diversified
I don't know what I
portfolio
would do
needs
with all the
more
money.
than just the traditional mix of stocks,
Buy some
bonds, and mutual
property,
funds. It needs private
reinvest.
real estate. Studies have shown that portfolios with an allocation
buy
to
myself
private real estate
a
have generally
Model X, a
delivered a
Model
better
Y.
risk-adjusted return with more annual income
What
and
else?
lower volatility over the past 2 decades. With Fundrise, this level of powerful diversification is now available to you. Fundrise provides leading growth spawn portfolio-based company. Fundrise.com.
So
What's your
I'm
plan
probably
with
gonna start a
this?
foundation. This is
Yeah.
however this take it as you will. Like this is obviously a great amount of money, but I've also been a Bitcoin investor for a very long time, and my mission is to support other
The things that you can
artists.
do
So
is
even
limitless. They
before
really are.
my auction, we did a clubhouse room where I was like, I'm going to spend $33,000 on your digital art. If you're a new artist, come up to the stage and pitch it to me.
Like, you just have to have focus. Like I can go out right now I can probably buy myself like probably like I don't know, like at wholesale or like get a nice deal on brand batteries and probably label them or brand them or some shit like I don't know, like put them like go at an event and have people buy my batteries. Buy them like a pack of 20 for like $100 or like 50 like online or some shit like something creative like that. You can probably find like unbranded batteries on Alibaba that have the same that last as long or better than some Duracells.
And I didn't end up buying everyone's pitch. I bought like maybe 5 things that I really liked. So I'm definitely going to take a big portion of this money and support the new NFT art community. My record label that
I don't know,
built,
sell them to
we
Tesla or
donated
some
over
shit.
$330,000 to building schools in Guatemala.
The batteries in Tesla, I think they're the same. Like it's like, have you seen the rechargeable like pallets for Tesla? There's like a bunch of batteries, and they seriously they dead ass like take it out. It's just batteries, just like these ones, and they're rechargeable.
With an organization called Pencils of Promise. I'm always about giving back. And this, obviously, we're going to be giving back in a big way with this kind of money because it's crazy. I mean, the community came out to support me and my vision. But what I do want to really stress is this feels like it's a little bit speculative. I would encourage you to just buy something for $50. To give you an example, I bought my friend Slime Sunday. I bought one of his pieces called The Last Stand of the Nation State for $40. And I, as a joke, put it up for sale at $8,000. There were only 400 editions ever minted. My price got hit and I panicked because I did it as a joke. I'm just gonna put this up for resale for $8,000.
That's insane.
And now it's 19,
Yeah.
and it's
All right.
19 today.
Where do you buy it? Where do you buy an NFT? How
You
can we
can
do
go
this?
to Nifty Gateway. You can go
Nifty
to Sora. You can go to OpenSea, Foundation, Super Rare. Those are all the main platforms. Nifty Gateway enables credit cards, so you don't have to know anything about crypto to start collecting. But I want to say this: don't buy to make money. Like a lot of people are thinking to themselves, "This is going to be a profit opportunity." No, buy stuff that you like. The same way you buy real art. I mean, I buy real art. I have a lot of real art in my house. I buy it because I love those artists, and I don't like plan on flipping it. So I would say, like, if something is digitally interesting to you, just explore. Like $40.
I'm not a skeptic at all of like NFTs, and I think it's a move in the right direction to move it like online. I think that's great because like it's kind of weird, but like we live in a finite world, but we have like infinite desires and aspirations, right?
Absolutely.
So to move everything onto a digital platform where we can expand infinitely, I think is a great idea. And also I love the idea that it can be one of one and not, like it's the true valid like.
So now imagine something else, right?
Yeah.
I want to take this to the next level beyond the investment part, which maybe that resonates with you, like owning the royalties of a song. Some of my music has generated significant royalties. My song "Is It Love" has generated over 330,000 in royalties just for that one song. What if I told you, Graham, like back when I made it, if you liked it, you could own 5% of that, but you could own it for like $500. I mean, totally a great investment, right? And so thinking about it in that way, that's the future. But there's another way to think about it too. What if owning an NFT gives you access to both exclusive digital content, but also gives you access to things in your life? For instance, imagine an NFT unlocks all my unreleased songs on my website, which is what we're doing, by the way, with this. You can listen to all the ideas that I'm working on in real time when they're not finished, and only these 33 people will have that ability. But they have to have the Ethereum token in their wallet. They have to sign a message to Ethereum to prove. Now, could they rip it? Yeah. Well, look how much money they paid. You think they want to show that to everyone? They might show it to their friends when they're over, but they're not sharing that.
Yeah.
And if someone else tried to get on the website, they physically couldn't because they didn't have the token in their wallet. Take this a step further. Let's say you're at one of my shows and you own an all access NFT. I'm going to let you backstage because you can prove to me that you own it by signing a message on your phone that shows that your wallet owns the all access NFT, and I can take you backstage. We only made 6 of them ever. So let's say you want to go backstage at EDC, you go, you experience it, now you can resell it. And every time you resell it, I get 10%. How incredible is that? So these things have real world functionality, not just digital functionality.
Gosh, you know what? We should do that with a mentorship group, then. Honestly,
That's
it's just
a great
create
idea.
100 NFTs that we could just basically do like a once a month sort of like mastermind.
That's smart.
We should
I
do
like
that.
that.
How do we do that, man?
We'll talk about it. It's
Really?
a long
Okay.
conversation, but like RAC is another artist
Yeah.
who has tokens that unlock access to a Discord server that is a direct channel of communication to him, but you have to own it.
Really, what it is that it's no different than political influence. It's just like, except this is America, and like there's freedom. Like the Soviet Union, like they was only letting they're like the boat, like not the Bolsheviks. I mean like the KGB. Except this is like an economic system. It's somewhat the same though. You gotta catch my drift.
Let's
That's
do that.
exactly what
And
We want to do that. All right, that's our
so
idea.
It makes
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit more sense as you. As
Well,
you
I
go
would
down
say,
the rabbit
like
hole.
for that, I'd say it makes sense in the set, and it's just it's security. I like that. It's resellable. I like that, and I guess that's what I like about it.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about you for a
Sure,
second.
okay.
This is a great example.
All right.
How many of the people watching would love to have a community around you? Only 100 people get direct access to you. Maybe you don't talk in this Discord server every single hour of every day, but every night before you go to sleep, you go through the 100 people that might have questions for you. What's the value of that pass for your family?
What do you think that might be? Well, for
per person.
How do you say this is for life? Like, how do I know I'm going to be like 80 years old and like Discord's still going to be a
Well,
thing? Or
it's
like,
your commitment. It's your commitment you have to make to them.
Yeah.
You can create terms and conditions, just like anything else in the world. You could say, listen, this gives you access to this Discord group. I can guarantee you I'm going to be popping in at least once every week. But now you build a community around you of people that can talk to each other that are your biggest fans.
Yeah, that's like
Whether you pop in every week or
that's
not,
too
they
much.
can
Like,
talk
I
to
don't
each
want to
other.
throw out a number because then I'm setting myself up for that number. We
you
should do that.
don't.
Honestly,
Yeah.
don't throw out a number, but let me tell
Yeah.
you something. Our first NFT,
Yeah.
some of them sold for $200. They're selling for $5,000 to $10,000 now. Why? Just because honestly, people believe in my vision for the future of music, which I've expressed on Clubhouse. I've talked on a lot of podcasts like Pompolino. I've talked on a bunch of people's podcasts just describing what I think the music business will become. And people believe in that vision. They want to support that vision, and that's why they're buying
Bro,
this.
I'm ready. Like,
And I'm hopefully going to shape that. I mean, that's kind of what happened this past weekend, which is honestly like the craziest moment of my life. I don't know if you saw, but in my high school yearbook, it says like life
Saw
goal
that,
to revolutionize the music business. And like that's literally like I'm on cloud 9 right now because I feel like I didn't do it yet, but I took a big step. And the reality is creators like yourself, we've been dependent on platforms for so long. When you have a token that someone else owns, you have direct access to those people. You don't have to go through a platform. And that's a whole other conversation that we can dive into. Let's say you make 10,000 NFTs for your truest fans. You can send them messages on the blockchain without even emailing them. And it's all decentralized, and no one can stop you from doing it. No one can ban your account, no matter what. And so giving creators that kind of power, going direct to fan.
they already had that power before
That's exactly-
the fucking blog, before all these fucking blogsters went on fucking Facebook. They already had that power. But that's what he's trying to say.
That I want to do that one. That I think has
Yeah,
a lot of
application
people.
for
really
everybody.
do.
It's an
Yeah,
application
gosh.
for everybody.
All right, I like that.
I'll
You could
post
it's
like once or twice on Facebook, like in like 3 or 2 years.
me
That's what I'm here for, man. That's why we're talking.
revolutionizing the mentorship group now too.
Sure. Honestly, like if I was a young kid who wanted to follow in your footsteps, you're extremely successful. You speak so well to both investments, real estate. There's so many people out there that would love your perspective on either a one-on-one basis or a 1-on-100 basis. I mean, if I was a younger kid and I saved money, I would pay $5,000 to $10,000 for that. But
Just say like 50 or 100. We're gonna.
But hold on.
Yeah.
But hold on. Maybe are those kids going to be able to afford it? I don't know. But maybe it starts out there. But remember, like I sold some of my first stuff for $200. You start out in a place that makes sense. But if the demand is there, you expand.
Right.
People sold his first piece for $1. and it's going for 100,000, and he's capturing 10% of all the resales every time it resells. So let me ask you a question: would you rather underprice yourself and capture 10% of every other transaction, or overprice yourself so much that maybe you don't attract the buyer? 10% of 5 times, 50, like if it goes for 20 and then 30 and then 50 and then if it changes hands all those times, but it started at 1.
So you get the
you
record
get 10%
label out
of
the
every time
equation.
it changes hands.
Why not just do the bidding system like you did? Give like the top 50 or top 100, and the
But they
number
always
one
adapt
person
no
gets like
matter
a
what. The
once
record
once
label
a
is
year
always gonna
meetup, and
adapt.
There's a
or
rank,
something like
and that's
that. Yeah.
exactly what we did, which
Yeah.
is like
They're
hardcore
not
game
gonna-
theory economics
Right.
that I studied in college. And that's why it worked, but
They're
it's also
not
very
gonna go
risky, and like we didn't know it would play out. Like there's a lot of math behind it. There's a lot of like special features that the collectors know that they have that no one else knows yet. Because now I've created a community of 33 people who changed my life, and so I'm going to make sure their investment in my art is worth something, and they're going to get so much of it that we didn't even announce yet. So you can play this however you want. The beauty is it's not like YouTube or Spotify where I upload a song and then I let the algorithm decide what happens. I have full control over the engagement with my community, and that's the power of this. So it's not like whether you price it at 1,000 or 5,000. The beauty of it is the fans can decide what the value is, and you'll capture all of it as it changes hands. So to give you perspective, before this 11.7, we had done about 1.1, me and my art director combined. So a pretty big jump. Like all the other ones were 1.1. Then this was 11.7. Kind of crazy. But that 1.1 has resold in the resale market with 4 million of sales bought after we sold it at its initial prices, which means that people value this stuff.
Did you do any marketing ahead of time? Because I saw you in Morning Brew. I loved that. I read Morning Brew
That's
pretty much
awesome,
every
yeah.
morning. Saw you on there, and I'm wondering,
we did marketing before the auction
Okay.
because I went out on my own. I didn't use a platform. Like platforms that built in audiences, like Nifty Gateway has an audience of people that literally just buy everything because they love this stuff.
Yeah.
I had to basically gather my hardcore fan base and bring them to my own website and hope that they were going to bid. And so we did some marketing because I was nervous that we were going to host it. I was the first NFT artist ever to host a sale on my own website, like Shopify versus Sotheby's, right? And I was nervous, but they showed up. But I had no idea, man. Yeah, I had no clue.
Right.
Once it hit, my family was with me in the house, and it starts out we hit 1 million. Oh my God, this is amazing. Then we break the record of 6.6, and we're like, then we just go quiet. Everyone was just watching silently as it just kept going, and the timer reset every 3 minutes. So if any of the 33 bidders bid again in the final 3 minutes, it would reset. So it gave everyone a chance to move around the board until they had their final price. Game theory, Nash equilibrium. You guys, if you're curious about the math behind it, you can just Wikipedia game theory and Nash equilibrium, and you'll figure out how I designed this. But ultimately, we all just sat there as it went from 1 to 6 to 11, and we were like, when is this gonna stop? And then it stopped, and I was just like, I didn't even know what to do. So that was my weekend last weekend.
Did any of it not feel real?
It didn't. I felt like the past 4 days, by the way, this is the first conversation I've had with someone in real life. All I've been is on the phone with other artists, musicians, people that want to get involved, not to name any names, but pretty much like everyone who you like musically is probably going to be doing this very soon. So.
And how did you get, also, if you think everyone's gonna get on board with like selling NFTs, kind of asked you a little bit before we started recording, but do you think that would create a too big of supply where the prices would go down?
It depends. Just like YouTube. How many YouTubers are there? There are a lot of YouTubers. But people choose to follow you because they believe in your message. The same thing will happen with NFTs. There'll be a lot of noise. People won't be able to sell stuff. But if it's meaningful to someone else, it will sell. Just like any other market. Just like for musicians. How many musicians are there on Spotify that have less than 1,000 listeners? It's just like anything else. So will there be an overflood of supply because people think they're going to make money? Yes. But as bigger artists do this and their fans come on board, maybe fans start to really see the value. And as more big artists come, more collectors will come, and eventually it'll balance out. But there is a lot of hype right now. We can't deny that, right? We can't deny that.
What was the music industry like before all of this? Let's go back when you were like 19. How much were you making back then? Like, how did you get your music out there? How did you grow as an
So I
artist?
disclosed this on NBC now, so I'm happy to
All right, let's
disclose
hear
a
it.
little bit. But outside of my investment portfolio, I like you. I admire you because I watch some of your videos, and you are a saver and an investor. And I didn't buy any luxury goods until this house that I just bought. Like nothing for 8 years. Like I'm very like-minded in that sense. Put most of my money that I made over the years in multifamily real estate assets and in Bitcoin. That's pretty much it. Not really many equities. I trade equity derivatives. It's a whole other conversation. Or index derivatives, not equity derivatives. But when I started out, I was 19. And that year, I made 400 grand.
How?
Playing shows all around the country at colleges.
Really?
In front of thousands of people.
How big of a following did you have back then?
Just Facebook following of like maybe 50 to 100,000 people.
Are you serious?
How much would you get per show?
It would range anywhere between 3 to 10,000 for the first 8 months, and then it would go, and then it went up to 12, and then it went up to 15, and it went up to 20, and then over the years it just keeps going up because people pay for tickets. It's simple.
Yeah.
People buy a ticket, and if I sell this many tickets, it generates this much money, and then after everyone else is paid,
He's giving a direct access. He's linking up to outsource or outcompete the record label. That's So I guess that's innovative, one way or another.
what's left? That's me.
Yeah. How did you get a following of 50 to 100,000 on Facebook?
I made mashups. I mixed popular songs with popular dance songs and popular vocals, and one just went viral on YouTube. And
are you kidding me?
Well, it started even
Him. Say that shit again.
I mixed popular songs with popular dance songs and popular vocals, and one just went viral on YouTube. And then I was playing colleges it started even lower than that. It started at $500. I was like a kid in college. I was junior year, and I would go out on the weekend to get.
It's easy.
Like,
hey, I got so much ideas. It's not even funny. Like the world is limitless. You ever been to BeMeSimon.com? You can go and buy a trophy for like $495, or like a cup trophy for like $1,000. You can buy like at least a set of like 4 or like a set of 6 for like 2 of each. You can set up a tennis tournament. But then, like, there's only a percentage that you're going to take home. And then the pro athletes, they take home, like, what is it, like, 50K, 100K, 400K. It's limitless. Like,
I'd fly to, like, Georgia Tech University and play a fraternity basement, slept in one of the frat brothers, like, beds in the bunk. That's where it all started, in fraternities and all around the country and sororities, and then it went up to like opening up for Wiz Khalifa at University of Connecticut, opening up for Macklemore at Duke.
How do you go from that to Macklemore?
My agent, who I've been with this whole time, at the time, like EDM was barely a thing. It was like right at the start of Avicii.
This was like 2008?
2011.
11,
really,
12, okay, yeah,
is when
sure.
it really started to hit.
Got it.
And there weren't that many American artists that were doing it at the time. So I just had good timing, I guess. But yeah, when I was 19, $400,000, dropped out of school. My economics professor convinced my parents to let me drop out of school. And then it was all, upward from there. Every year, doubling. And then over the years, not spending my money on anything, putting it into Bitcoin, putting it into real estate, and just understanding that money doesn't really come overnight. And then all of a sudden, this happens.
How much do you charge per show now?
It ranges. It's definitely a lot more than it was. I don't want to like give a specific number because it ranges depending on how far I have to travel, what the demands are. But it's definitely a lot more than that.
Let's say I wanted you to DJ like a house party here, like play music for me. But pretend we weren't friends and we're like, hey man.
I mean, my agent's gonna kill me for disclosing that. No, it's okay. Unfortunately, I can't disclose what it would cost today. But I can tell you that there was a time that it went from $500 to $3,000 to $12,000 to $15,000. There was a time in my career where that happened. Now it's a lot more, but it depends on the circumstances. To give you an example, one of my best friends who helped me in the crypto space early on, Kiefer Boy. I'm sure you've heard of him. He started a company called Open Door. He's one of the original PayPal Mafia guys. Yeah. His birthday is in Miami. I'm going to get my second shot. I'm going to go play his birthday party. I want to go hang out because I'm celebrating this event, and all my friends are down there. He ain't paying for that. I wouldn't charge him. You know, you and I will become friends, and we'll throw a party. You're my next door
Get some
neighbor.
stuff,
You're my next door neighbor,
man.
right? Like
Yeah.
I enjoy DJing. I tell people I don't get paid to DJ. I get paid to put my body through hell traveling to DJ.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Like I get offers sometimes to go to India, and they're really big offers, but like the 48 hours of hell to go and come back is hard.
Yeah.
So unless I have multiple shows in India lined up so that I can, go hit them all at once, it's hard to get me to go there for, 24 hours. And
I get that.
So it's really just the price is a function of anything else. Like, if someone wants me to go, who's a friend who wants me to do something, my buddy Matt Como, who's a big Instagram, photographer, videographer, he just said, dude, like all of our friends I'm throwing a birthday party in LA. It's in Venice Beach. You want to come? You want to play it? I'm like, yeah, I do. All my friends are going to be there. I don't really play. You don't sure or anything. Right? Like, so I always tell people that I DJ because I love DJing. I make music because I love making music. I get paid because I hate traveling. Hate it. So like, it's been kind of nice.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What was I? Are you finally spending your money now?
Not really.
No.
I
Besides the house, you splurge.
finally bought a car.
What did you get? What did you get?
The new F8 Spider. But outside of that, like I prefer investing in people.
Mm-hmm.
I like investing in people with crazy ideas. And so like Carrot, for example.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What was I? Are you finally spending your money now?
Not really.
No. Besides the house, you splurge.
I finally bought a car.
What did you get? What did you get?
The new F8 Spider. But outside of that, like I prefer invest.
I'm gonna take a screenshot of that.
F8 Spider. But outside of that,
so I'm gonna take the screenshot. Imagine riding shit. Riding in Dubai. Riding around the city in that thing. Oh my god.
I prefer investing in people.
Mm-hmm.
I like investing in people with crazy ideas. And so like Carrot, for example, right? Like I'm investing in Carrot because I believe in Eric's vision, right? I like investing in things that will shape the world for the better. That's the best thing about capital, is deploying it into ideas that change the world. And so I like to be a part of that story. And like things are nice. Like I don't really know watch. Maybe I'll go. I've never been a watch guy, but now
everyone's like, will go for like about $10 million.
You should go buy this, $2 million. Tech. You should pay tech. You go. I've never been a watch guy, but like, it's a store of value because what's happening with the dollar right now, right? Like maybe the watch is actually a better decision than holding the dollar.
Zenith Rolex Daytona.
That's what Zenith Rolex Daytona.
Yes, that's the one you want.
Versus an AP. I was looking at. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, we'll talk about watches because I don't know anything about watches. Maybe you'll give me some recommendations.
That's the one.
Am I spending my money now? No. I'm definitely excited. Aside from the car, like I'm mostly excited about investing in young ideas, young artists. Investing in. I'm going to create a foundation. I already had a not-for-profit. Now I'm going to create an actual 501c3 foundation and do a lot of really cool stuff to help new artists that can't pay for, just can't pay to don't even, have the ability to buy the software, right? Like someone could be so talented, but maybe they can't afford to pay for Adobe. Like I want to help those people and pay it forward. And so that's really, how I think about money is I want to use whatever money I have to create more value in the world for other human beings by believing in people and real estate assets. That's why we're, and real estate assets, right?
How much real?
A Koenigsegg Agera will go for $10 million. Jesus. Let me keep saying that.
Estate do you own? How do you get into that?
I would say half of my net worth is in multifamily real estate.
Okay.
We all know 1031 exchange, and how powerful that can be. I own a lot of units in Texas and Florida. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many, but I own a lot of units in Texas and Florida across different properties that I've invested from day one. First 400 grand, 200 into multifamily real estate when I was 19. Like literally been doing this.
How'd you learn about that?
My dad is a real estate guy.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful. He guided me when I started making any money. He was like, Justin, this is how you do it. Like, don't spend it. Don't buy the car. And I
like the 2021 Kia
bought the car of my dreams until today.
Yeah.
After all this time.
I gotta go for $33,000.
the compound interest is such a powerful
That's a nice
thing.
start,
Uh-huh.
though.
And there's a lot of really
The
interesting
metric.
stuff happening in the cryptocurrency space for those of you who want to get involved. It is easy to take the first step. It's hard to take the second step, which is really understanding how all this stuff works. But NFTs make it simple because unlike a cryptocurrency where you look at Bitcoin and someone's like, this is like $50,000. How am I going to buy one of them? You can't think about it that way. You have to think about it as it's okay to own 0.001 of something. We just haven't been trained that way. Austrian economics, this idea of dollars and cents, is just a theory someone came up with a long time ago that doesn't really apply to anything today. And once you start like thinking about it and really diving in, it all starts to make sense. And you'll have, and I hope you have,
Mhm.
Michael Saylor would have helped you on that call, and I'll get you on the phone
Next
again.
next one.
Next one. He speaks so well to the aha moment that you have when like pennies don't really make sense anymore. The idea of a penny.
I've been a big proponent of getting rid of the penny.
Let's be real.
I think we
Look,
should let's abolish the penny. Canada did it. It works really well. We don't need the penny. It's
how
it
can you
loses money.
trust? How can
Yeah.
you trust a financial system that has no backing? We keep printing dollars like it's nothing. So what do? I want to invest in ideas, in art, in Bitcoin, in real estate. Why do I invest in real estate? Probably for a similar reason to you. Everybody needs a place to live,
Mhm.
right? No matter what, you need a place to go, home to. And that's why real estate has been such a powerful asset over the years. But, for anyone who's watching, who's a young entrepreneur who follows you, and you're a great voice for that young generation.
Thanks.
You really are, man.
Thanks.
I gotta hand it to you. I
Thank you,
watched your
thank
videos.
Thank you.
You're teaching people to be financially responsible with their success.
Mhm.
And, before YouTube, a lot of people would just blow their money on, right? And it's nice to splurge sometimes, but within reason. Invest. That's your mission. Like, that's your message. Invest.
Right.
Right. And we all know how powerful that is. So props to you, man.
Thank you. What do you do for fun?
I make music.
Really?
I make music.
What about besides music?
I have my
If you- if
girlfriend,
you
my
have a-
girlfriend and I are pretty
Okay.
low key. Like, she's an actress. She's got a really awesome trilogy coming on.
So yeah, that's 3LAU, 3LAU on Graham Stephan. Or the Stephan, no, the Iced Coffee Hour. That's his podcast. Graham, did he like change his channel? No, he's still Graham Stephan. Yeah. Moving on to Alpha and the Tilray merger. How long ago did this happen though, this merger? Like, I've been knowing, but like I didn't like go out my way. I like that stuff. And GBTC. Tilray. Free merger. Merger. Afria stock. Looks like a hard pass ahead of the Tilray merger. In late 2019, I called my pick in the cannabis sector. In March 2020, I recommended investors buy the dip at $3.50. The combination of solid growth, experience management, and profitability, and an adjusted basis made Alpha stock stand out. But in April 2021, I'm far less optimistic. Even with a sharp pullback of late, Alpha has nearly quadrupled from where it sat in early March of last year. It's gained a whopping 90% so far in 2021. The year-to-date gains in particular look a bit questionable. They come in the next context of what's looked like negative news flow over the past 5 months.
Don't press that skip ad button. I can guarantee.
Little bit since I made a video about Aphria and Tilray, and they do have a merger that should be coming up. Aphria shareholders have already voted yes, and Tilray shareholders have their special meeting happening on April 30th. The thing is, the stocks have been down in the last month. Aphria is down about 20%. Tilray is down about 25% in the last 30 days. So is there a reason for concern here? Well, I thought today I would provide a little update and discuss the positives and negatives associated with Aphria and Tilray. So let's go. What's up? My name is Adam Prosivia. If we haven't met before, why not get this party started early? Hit that like button. It really helps me out with the channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you get anything out of this video, I hope I can earn your subscription by the end of the video. Keep in mind, though, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm making this video to aid in your due diligence process. But let's talk Aphria Tilray. So one thing I want you to keep in mind when you're investing in this sector is to minimize future regret. What does that mean? Well, if you believe in this industry, you think it's going to be big, and you have zero money invested in it and everything goes to the moon, you're going to regret not being involved. But at the same time, if you just invest in one or two companies and everything tanks and you've only invested in green companies, you're going to regret being not diversified enough. So go into these investments with the right balance of potential future regret, considering that the share prices can sway a lot in either direction. If you really believe in this industry, I'd say spread your investment across multiple companies to give yourself a higher chance of being rewarded in the future. Most recently, we saw Aphria, Tilray, and the rest of the gang perform very well right here back in February. Things did retreat since then, but you know what? I was not expecting things to go this high this soon. I was thinking that these numbers would be coming like in 2022, 2023. So at that time, I did manage to lock in some gains, and I made a video about how I moved some of that Aphria money into the US MSOs. Looking over here at Tilray, since they're high in February, they're down about 73%. So is this a bad sign? Are the Canadian companies kind of dead? Or is there still light at the end of the tunnel? Will they recover and hit all-time highs again? My opinion here is that these companies are now trading at more reasonable levels. At times back in February were a little too high. They went up a little too fast, a little premature. So I think we can still see a further pullback on these numbers. Full disclosure here, I have not re-added any Aphria shares since I sold a big chunk of my position. I think there are some reasons we need to discuss that could pull these stock prices down a little further, but it's okay. I think it's just short-term things. In the long run, I still believe in these companies. I just think I can get them at a cheaper price. So right now there is a little bit of a bear and bull battle with these companies. Aphria Tilray, for example, a lot of people think, hey, they have a good advantage right now. They're focusing on Canada. They're focusing on the European market. And
Dude, I bet, and I can start a battery company with like $3,000. I can go on Alibaba and I can buy unbranded batteries. I can put my name on it, and I can be what you call it, a distributor or a wholesale seller to either, I don't know, Tesla. I can say like Tesla, or like a small battery company, or like a big conglomerate or whatever. Just buy like $3,000 worth of batteries and sell it and make like a $3,000 profit. For like that, that's like that's like 100% or like 50%, 20% markup, and I can start like that. Like the possibilities are endless. You just have to have the drive for it.
International markets, and when the time is right, they're going to swoop into the US and enter that market and become a success there. Then there's other people that say, hey, they're at a disadvantage right now. They're gaining no market share in the United States. The US is the main market you want to be in. Europe is too small. Canada is really tiny as well. It's like the size of some of the small states in the US. So I'm not sure where you stand. I'm kind of in the middle on this one. But if we just look at Canada for now, their last quarter wasn't very good. They actually showed declining sales in Canada. But I think there are some reasonings behind this that are kind of out of their control. And right now, we're still going through a pandemic here in Canada. And that caused an issue on Aphria's sales. So a lot of retail stores, especially in Ontario, were closed at the beginning of 2021. And Ontario is the biggest province in Canada. And that's a big deal. That's the biggest market for Aphria. And the thing is, you think, hey, if stores are closed, no one's going to shop in person, but they can go shop online. But here's the thing. In a recent interview, Aphria CEO Irwin Simon said that many of the consumers, they still don't want to shop online through e-commerce. They want to go in person. They want to experience and feel and touch the product and ask questions about the products. This kind of aligns with what we hear from Trulieve. The Trulieve CEO says in Florida, most of their sales are made in person. There's still a little bit of a stigma of ordering this type of product online. And here over in British Columbia, where I am right now, if you order stuff online through the BC store, you can't get it shipped to your house. You have to go to the post office, show ID there, pick up your package, go home. Kind of defeats the purpose of e-commerce. So with all this, and when Canada is still going through a pandemic and there's lockdowns, it's really going to affect sales. So this is what Aphria is saying is the reasoning behind their declining sales in Canada. So I'd say that these issues in Canada are only going to be a temporary sales setback. We'll see what happens in the future quarters. If they do show declining numbers in the next 2 or 3 quarters, then we got some things to worry about. So there is a lot of people that say, hey, Canada is a tiny market. Aphria is a Canadian company. They're not a big deal. We shouldn't take them seriously. The thing is, though, Aphria's CEO, Irwin Simon, pretty much every interview he has, he mentions USA. Some would call this desperate that he's appearing on CNBC very often. Others would say, hey, this is a normal thing that CEOs do. Personally, I don't think we can just judge Aphria on the current market that they operate in. I think they do have high aspirations to become an international player, and that does include the United States. This company already generates revenue in the United States. I believe last quarter they brought in $14.6 million in alcohol sales, because they acquired Sweetwater Brewing, a brewing company out of Atlanta, Georgia. And in the future, when the laws permit, they do have intentions to convert this operation into more of a green product, so green beverages and all that type of stuff. So look right there, they already sell alcoholic beverages in the United States. And you know what? On the Tilray side, they actually have Manitoba Harvest. And this is a hemp and wellness platform. They sell like hemp seeds that go on your cereal, on your toast, and all that type of thing. Health products, but they're sold in a ton of stores. We have Costco, Whole Foods, Kroger, and Amazon. But I'll say, they don't make too many sales in this category. It's not doing the best in my opinion. But what they do have is they do have the relationships with these stores, and that is huge. Say in 5 to 10 years, when other green products can be sold in these types of stores, and these types of stores want to make revenue on this type of product, maybe they're going to have these connections and they can get their products in there very quickly, very easily. Here we have Tilray's revenue by product. Right here is the hemp category. As you can see, the last quarter, they only had 15 million in sales in this category. The same time in 2019, they had 18 million. So that actually went down by about 18%. But for 2020 versus 2019 as a whole, they actually went up about 28% to $76 million in this category. So not too big, but it is something. So although they can't sell green products in the United States just yet, they're already making connections with consumers and suppliers and retailers. And another reason why we can't see Aphria Tilray as just a Canadian company is their aspirations for Europe. And Europe has a population of about 748 million. So that is actually bigger than the United States. So this is actually going to be a very important green market. And this was further validated by Curaleaf, who actually entered the European market.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, the cannabis industry is like, it's not dead in the water. It's brand new. Like, those returns, everyone is like, if you're like struggling right now, you're gonna see those returns. Especially if you're SNDL, you're gonna see those returns. It's not overnight. I mean, some things like GME, I mean, shit, if you call it that, and then you're still in the game after GME and AMC, after what happened on AMC, you're still in the game. But I had my good times and good days on GME. GME really treated me good. AMC, not too much. That's what almost blew up my account. But there's a market, for like a retail investor. Like that's a retail investor market. It's pretty predictable. I mean, a lot of stocks are pretty predictable, but you have to have the principles and everything to stay in the game and keep doing what you do and what you're doing. But yeah.
Already with an acquisition of EMAC Life Sciences. So this is big. All the big companies are already fighting for territory in Europe. And Tilray and Aphria are already in Europe. They already have big plans for this continent. They have a big distribution business for pharmaceutical products in Germany. A lot of people say, hey, this type of product doesn't have good margins, but hey, they are there. They're generating some revenues there. And we can assume here that the leader in this industry is going to be a global player one day. Think Anheuser-Busch, Nestle, Procter & Gamble. These are all big companies in their respective industries. And some big companies have already entered this space. We have Altria, which is a tobacco company. They made a huge investment in Cronos. I kind of don't believe in this investment. I don't think it was the right move by them, but hey, it validated the industry. Cronos. At the same time, we have Constellation Brands. They're a beer and spirits company. They actually made a huge minority investment in Canopy Growth Corp. And there's one thing here that I kind of want to speculate about. Aphria and Tilray still don't have that large partner. And this industry is only going to grow. And there's other big companies out there that are going to want to get involved in this industry, especially when US makes some changes to its laws. This industry is projected to be worth $90.4 billion by 2026. In 2020, it was projected to be around $20.5 billion, according to researchandmarkets.com. After the merger, the new Tilray company, if they have an attractive portfolio of brands, scale, and markets they operate in, they could be a target for acquisition by a big company. So Aphria has their home market in Canada. They're going after Europe, and they're selling some things right now in the United States. This leads me to my next point, US legalization. But before I jump into that, if you're getting anything out of this video, it helps me out a lot if you can hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, also hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all my videos. So I don't think there's any perfect company out there. If there was one, everyone would be invested in it. There is still a ton of uncertainty in this industry in particular, which could mean there's tons of volatility in the stock prices. Both the US MSOs and the Canadian LPs have seen their share prices go down in the recent months. And I do think these drops are completely justified. People do know that this will be a massive market one day, except we don't know when that will be. So as of right now, there are 14 states that have legalized at a rec level and another 34 states with just medical. And
Altria share price of $47.22. Market cap at $87.46 billion. Revenue in 2018 was $25.36 billion. Altria Group Inc. is an American corporation and one of the world's largest producers and marketers of tobacco, cigarettes, and related products. It operates worldwide and is headquartered in unincorporated Henrico County, Virginia, just outside of the city of Richmond. So this is Philip & Morris USA, Philip & Morris International, British American Tobacco, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. In fact, it's to know head of Altria's MO Q1 earnings release. So that's Altria. Let me go back to shit.
And the more states that do this, the more pressure that is put on Washington to do the same thing. So whether it takes another few election cycles or not, there's going to be a time when there's going to be so much pressure on these politicians to support some sort of change that they're going to have to if they want to win votes. But right now, there's a couple potential pathways to legislation that are being talked about. First off is the Safe Banking Act. I think this would help out the US MSOs a lot, perhaps a little bit of the Canadian LPs like Aphria Tilray. The Safe Banking Act would help these green companies get things that other companies get, things like loans and access to more institutional investors. And as of right now, the US MSOs trade on the OTC, over-the-counter exchange, and a lot of people do not have access to these stocks. You won't believe how many people message me saying, hey, how do I buy Curaleaf or Cresco Labs stock? And it's hard. Some people don't have the brokerages that allow OTC trading. So perhaps the Safe Banking Act being passed would actually allow more people to participate in the US MSO stocks. So this one has already been passed in the House of Representatives. Now it just has to go to the Senate. A lot of people are saying, hey, this won't make it through the Senate, so we're going to have to wait and see. And then next up, we have potential legalization or decriminalization. Senate, so we're going to have to wait and see. And then next up, we have potential legalization or decriminalization. But my hopes aren't very high. A little bit since I made a video about Aphria and Tilray, and they do have a merger. My hopes aren't very high on this one. I feel like it's going to get blocked just because of politics in the US. So this whole potential decriminalization or even legalization is being led by Chuck Schumer. He is the Senate Majority Leader. And he said on 420, happy 420 from the Senate Majority Leader. The thing is, though, actions speak louder than words. You can't just tweet about it. You need to get it done. The next day, he had another tweet that said, we must end federal prohibition on MJ and repair the damage on the war on drugs. And last month, he told reporters that we will soon have something to present. And you know what? It's been about a month and we're still waiting. Many thought he would announce something on 420, but he didn't. So we'll have to wait and see what he's going to try to get passed. But even after he presents something, you need to keep in mind here that just presenting a bill doesn't mean it's going to get passed. It has to get through the Republican wall. So he basically needs all Democrats to vote in favor of this and then 10 Republicans to also vote in favor of this. And if this does make it through the Senate, which a lot of people say it won't, but if it does, it'll move to the House, and I'm sure it'll pass there because the House just passed the Safe Banking Act. But one thing I want you to keep in mind here is that these guys are not working for your portfolio. They're not doing it for your stocks. They're kind of doing this for the greater good of society. There's a lot of people that have been put in jail because of these laws. There's also some issues for the economy as well, because right now there's a black market and they can't make tax revenue off the black market. So they're actually losing money, potential tax money, if they have this going into the black market for any longer. So yeah, they're not going to pass any laws for Trulieve, for Aphria, for Canopy Growth, any of these companies. They're doing it for the greater good. So we really don't know what legalization will look like yet. Is it going to be in favor of US companies, or is it going to be more of an open free market where companies like Aphria could enter? Those are still unknowns, and that's the reason why the share prices haven't done too well, because so much uncertainty here. But next up, I wanted to share some potential red flags I see with Tilray and Aphria. And when you're investing, you need to think of everything. You can't just look at the good, you have to look at the bad as well. And I recently signed up for Seeking Alpha. I think I'm paying like $30 a month. So why not share this article with you guys if you hit a paywall by trying to access these articles. But right here, the reporter says, Aphria, void after another ugly quarter. Aphria reported horrible fiscal quarter 3 results for the period ending February. The Canadian cannabis company only generates 35% of its revenue from cannabis sales, which we'll discuss in a sec. The stock is far too expensive with a $4.4 billion market valuation, and their prime business is only generating $210 million in run rate revenues. So if you look at their financial highlights here, they have distribution revenue, green revenue, and alcohol revenue. The thing is distribution revenue. That makes up the most of their revenues. And you know what that is? That's their CC Pharma pharmaceutical distribution company that they have in Germany. It spreads across Europe. And this reporter says, hey, this isn't even a green company. They do other things. They shouldn't be treated like a green company. And then we have their alcohol revenue. And many would say, hey, we shouldn't give this company a round of applause for making alcohol revenue. Alcohol is a product that's very widely available. It's kind of a mature market at this point already. So we shouldn't be hyping this up. We should be focusing on the middle one here, which is their green revenue. And for a company that's being seen as a green company, shouldn't most of their revenues come from selling green products? So I kind of both agree and disagree with this article. Of course, declining revenue should not be seen as a positive, but we do know this is probably because of the pandemic up in Canada and the restrictions involved with that. I think it will become a red flag if there's no recovery in this category of sales for them. In terms of their $4.4 billion market cap, I think that US legalization is kind of priced into their share price right now. If US legalization was not going to happen, or if they just completely failed at entering the US market, then yes, this market cap would be a little high in my opinion. I don't think that Canada and the current European market alone can justify this market cap, but yes, they do have aspirations to enter the US market. So I think the success of the new Tilray, which will be headed by the CEO Irwin Simon, really depends on the US. But keep in mind that as each day passes, the US MSOs are getting more and more of an advantage over the Canadian LPs because they're gaining market share and they're creating relationships with customers down there. So what would be my own personal rating on this one? Well, I believe in this company in the long run still. I just think there are some factors in the short term that could pull the stock price back. It's all based on uncertainty. So I'm kind of neutral at this point. If nothing happens in the near future that will benefit the Canadian LPs, I can see the share price of Tilray going down in the next 6 months or so. So I'm currently reading this book. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And in chapter 11, he discusses emotions and investing. And I'm a big fan of leaving emotions out of investing because it can impact your decision-making abilities. But he did make a good point about buying stocks in companies you care about. And this chapter really made me think about the green companies. He says when you're buying stocks in companies that you really care about, companies you really understand, you really believe in, when the stocks do go down, you're less likely to sell those stocks because you believe in the long-term potential. But if you buy a stock in a company or an industry that you don't really care about, and that stock goes down, then you might be more inclined to cut your losses and move on because you don't really care. You don't really want to. If you believe in this sector, in this industry, you think it's going to grow in the long run, when these stocks do retreat in value and you believe there are reasons why the stocks could return to their highs, then you're going to be less likely to sell. And that's how I feel about these green companies right now. So even if for the next 6 to 12 months, Tilray drops in price because US legalization doesn't happen and the US MSOs are getting an advantage there, maybe you don't have anything to worry about. Maybe you should be thinking in 3 to 5 to 10 year increments. A lot of companies aren't going to make it in the US. Some big ones, some small ones. There's going to be international ones that do well in the US. There's going to be US ones that do well in the US. There's going to be big companies that enter the space. Say
That's in terms of building up a portfolio. Like, there's gonna be times that you're gonna have to hedge it, and even for day traders like me, they will hold stocks like you will swing trade it, or you'll hold a position for as long as I don't know what, like SNDL, like I'm holding long term. But there's been stocks like GME where I made like 1,000 in a day, or I can make like 138 in a day. But it depends, You have to consider the size of your account, and you have to consider that you're gonna make a certain percentage. You're either gonna make it like probably like 4 to 7%. If you have a small account like 5K, like 8K, you have 8K, you should be making like 8%. You should be making like 8 points daily, or shooting towards making 8K, 8 points daily on a daily basis. But when I was like at 5K, I was making like 4% daily, and that was just me. That was on AMC and SOS and GME. So yeah.
And Tilray gets an investment from Anheuser-Busch because I think Tilray had some relationships with Anheuser-Busch already. Again, this is speculation, but say they get that investment. That will allow them to possibly enter the US market with an advantage over the other companies. But at the same time, maybe Anheuser-Busch will go for the American companies with their investments. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But there are reasons why Aphria and Tilray, you should believe in them. You should believe in the fact that they will enter USA. They really want to. I can't see them passing a law that would disallow Canadian companies to enter that market. So that's just my opinion, though. I know things could go pro-America, all that. Let's go American companies first. Let's give them the advantage. But who knows? America is all about the free market, right? So they want the free market to happen. They want any company to enter. In pharmaceutical companies, we have German companies. We have companies from all over the world. Canadian companies, all that. There's not just American companies operating in the US. Same with alcohol, same with CPG, same with everything. It's an international game, right? So I can't see them passing a law that will limit international companies from joining the party in the US. And hey, I might be wrong here at this company having future potential. Maybe they completely fail at hitting the US market. Maybe they go bankrupt one day, or maybe even Tilray shareholders by April 30th vote against the merger and the share price of Aphria just drops a lot. All those risks, though, are okay in my opinion if you understand them. Do not go into any company blind, not knowing all the risks associated. So I'd say if you're really bullish on this industry, don't go for just Tilray or just the MSOs. Spread the wealth out a little bit. Yes, you won't get that huge gain by that one company that you perfectly pick that goes up incredibly. What are the chances you're going to pick the right company? I believe in 5 to 10 years, most of the companies we're talking about may not even exist. There's going to be mergers. There's going to be acquisitions. There's going to be a ton of activity going on. So it's very hard to pick the winning company right now. So right now, I'd say pick a couple good companies that are performing well and have some good vision. So yeah, that is all for me today. High risk, high reward. That is what it is in this industry. I'd say keep a smaller percentage of your portfolio exposed to these types of companies because you don't really know what's going to happen. Imagine legalization in the US doesn't happen for another 5 to 10 years. There's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be willing to hold their stocks for that long with all that uncertainty. But that is just my opinion for today. Let me know your thoughts though. Do you believe in Tilray as a combined company with Aphria, or is it trash? Do you just like the MSOs? I'm going more MSOs right now, to be honest, but I think, like I said, I might buy back into Tilray if the share price retreats even more, gets to a more reasonable valuation, but that's just my opinion. And yeah, if you got anything out of this video, it helps me out a lot if you can hit that like button. If you want to see more from me, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you want to chat about the stock market, green companies, tech companies, just the market in general, we do have a Discord going. It is free. Link is in the description down below. But that is all for me today. Good luck with your investments. I gotta go. I'll talk to you soon.
All-time highs on it were 33.50. I would wait for 33.50 to break. You see how it's hitting the scanner, but you've got 20-cent spread. So is it going to break 31? If it breaks 31, there's 31.25. Then you're going to get 31.50. So I'm watching CIIC. I want to see if it goes up to 32.33. 31.50 is the next level you want to see break, the $0.50. High is 36. ONCT. Yeah. So I think the float on this is a little higher. I'm not sure. Price on FATE, FATE, but out of our price range. It's a large cap stock.
Since middle school, I have been single-minded.
People of the internet, is Lenny here with another video for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking about Aphria stock, aka APHA. This is a great stock. I've had a fun time with this stock myself. We're going to be talking about whether or not you should get involved with this stock or not, and we're going to be talking about just an overview of the stock, the general valuation, and just the risks and what might drive this price even higher in the future. So if that's something you would like and you'd like to see more of this content, I make videos on stocks and just the overall stock market every single day. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I have 2 degrees in finance. So I might know something that you might need some more information on. So if that's something you'd like to see more of, then hit that subscribe button down below. And the number one thing you can do for me is actually like the video, because liking the video helps spread this content to other people. It helps me grow my channel the most. So make sure you interact with that like button or dislike button. Both actually help me. So go ahead and do whatever you want. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about Aphria stock today. I've got some good information for you guys. I'm excited to make this video, and let's get right into it. So Aphria is a leading global cannabis company with operations in Canada, Germany, Italy, Malta, Colombia, and Argentina. So this company is all over the world besides for the United States, but we're going to be getting into that shortly. Their headquarters is in Canada, and they're licensed to basically cultivate and distribute marijuana products. This company is also heavily invested in expanding their cannabis operations, which is why it is a great candidate for a growth stock. It's listed under the Toronto Stock Exchange as well as the NASDAQ under ticker symbol APHA. So Aphria has recently acquired Sweetwater Brewing Company, which is a brewing company in the United States, and this is basically their ticket to entry into United States cannabis markets. Sweetwater Brewing Company is actually one of the largest brewing companies in the United States. They make a bunch of different craft beers, and they're actually known for their 420 beverage line, where they use hemp to produce these beers. Although their beer is not currently infused with cannabis, they're looking to do this in the future. So this is the perfect company to acquire in order to have cannabis-infused drinks for Aphria. What I love about this acquisition for Aphria, it'll expand their portfolio of products as well as give them an entry into U.S. markets, which will be increasing rapidly over the coming years. Another huge catalyst for this stock is its reverse merger with Tilray, which most of you guys have heard of already. Aphria shareholders will be getting 62% of Tilray, while the remaining Tilray shareholders will get 32% of the company, 38% of the company. And with that, it'll be under the ticker symbol Tilray, and they'll just be a combined company from there on out. Aphria shareholders will be receiving 0.8381 shares of Tilray once this merger completes, and this actually creates an arbitrage opportunity, which I'm not going to be going over right now because we are going to be talking about the value of this company rather than a short-term trade that you may make. If you guys want me to make an individual video discussing this arbitrage opportunity, then leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to make a video on this in the future. I also briefly discussed this arbitrage opportunity in my Tilray video that I'm going to leave a link above on the screen right now. So check out that video if you want to see more on the arbitrage opportunity. This combined company will create the largest cannabis company in the world. So that's why people love this merger. That's why we've seen such a huge run up. There's a lot of speculation on whether or not they're going to enter the United States, and all of this combined has just really made the cannabis sector very hot in the last few months. It's very important in these growth sectors. So whether it's EV, whether it's cannabis, whether it's gambling, you want to be picking the winner in these sectors because there's a lot of competition. Everyone wants to get into this untapped market. Everyone wants to be the leader in global cannabis. It's a hard market because there's so much uncertainty, whether it's laws, whether it's regulation, we just don't know. And there's a lot of different companies that have over $1 billion in revenue. So we have to be picking the winner here. So I think with Aphria and Tilray, since they're going to be the largest global cannabis company, I think that's a pretty good bet on the cannabis sector personally. But we're going to be talking more about valuation later in the video, so make sure you stick around for that. And with this arbitrage opportunity, it actually makes more sense to buy Aphria's stock right now than Tilray, because Aphria, in comparison, is trading at a discount to Tilray. So if you want to be in it for the long term, I definitely recommend going for Aphria over Tilray right now. There has been some speculation that the United States will be legalizing cannabis with Biden's presidency. So this is actually what made me want to invest in Aphria. So as soon as I heard that Joe Biden was going to be president, actually it was before he even got elected, I bought this stock just in case. And I've seen some great returns on this stock. So it is very evident that this stock will be performing well if the U.S. does decide to legalize cannabis, because they have their Sweetwater acquisition, they have their entry into U.S. markets. They are ready to expand into this untapped market. Also, the U.S. cannabis market is expected to double by 2025. So that will put it at a $41.5 billion market, which is huge. And we expect these cannabis-infused drinks to take up a large chunk of this market. Now, while everyone is hyped about the United States legalizing cannabis, Europe is actually twice the size in terms of population than the United States, and this market is also huge for legal cannabis. Both Tilray and Aphria have production facilities in Europe as we speak, so this is huge for the global cannabis market. Other cannabis companies are actually getting a similar amount of revenue than the expected amount of revenue that the combined Aphria and Tilray merger will produce. So that is a big risk because there's Curaleaf, Trulieve, and Green Thumb all having around $1 billion in revenue a year. So this is a huge risk. Even though Aphria and Tilray are going to be the biggest cannabis company, if they can't compete with revenue and another company is more efficient than them, then they might not be the global leader. Now, that being said, we have not yet seen the synergies of the combined Aphria and Tilray company, so we have to wait until then to truly speak on this. There's also been a huge run-up on Aphria and Tilray, and this is partly due to a short squeeze on Tilray, as well as just general frenzy in the cannabis sector. Now, we have to be mindful of valuations here because this company was trading at a huge discount just a few months back. I got these shares for $5.48 a share just right before the election happened, and now it's trading at $18.85 a share. So that is a huge run up over the past few months. And whenever something runs up like this, I always tell people that they should be mindful of these valuations because we don't know what's basing these valuations. And definitely a lot of this valuation is driven by retail speculation. So that is just something you need to be careful of. going forward. If your cost basis of this stock is around the $10 range, then there's nothing that you really need to worry about right now. But if you're above $20 for your cost basis, just know you're in that speculative zone. It may be harder to see the returns you're expecting than if you got in a lot earlier. This stock is also highly dependent on the United States legalization. That's what it's been rallying on. That's what it's been pricing in lately. So if it does not happen, if Congress rejects this bill, if Biden vetoes this bill, if anything like that happens, then yeah, this stock will definitely suffer from it. Be patient on this stock. I never recommend FOMOing into a stock that's up over 100% in just a short amount of time. The cannabis industry is a big market. We don't know who's going to win. It's hard to predict who's going to win, especially with the information we have right now. If someone does know who's going to win and has very, very good information on this, then please leave a comment down below, because I would love to have that information personally. I'll double down on it. I say the best way to get involved in the cannabis industry is just through an ETF. Let the professionals do what they're doing the best, because right now I do not know if I see a company that has a particular moat in this industry. So I just want to show you guys what exactly I mean by be careful of valuation. So we look at Aphria right now, it's at 1885. It's down 3% on the day, which is honestly a lot for a stock in a single day. But with a stock like this, it's kind of to be expected. Then if you bought this stock a week ago, you'd be down 15%. A month ago, you'd be up 10%. 3 months ago, you'd be up 159%. A year ago, you'd be up 587%. So guys, this stock is crazy. Like, it has some parabolic growth. And when you see growth like this, a lot of the future is being priced into the stock. So if the future doesn't go according to plan, anything can happen, and this stock can take a huge hit. And this goes for Aphria and Tilray. They've both seen growth like this, and it's really crazy to see something like this. As you can see, I'm in at 548, so I don't really like have as much fear, because I got in like over here when it was up 60% on the year, which is still high. That's still up a lot on the year, but it's not nearly as crazy as being up 587% on the year. And at one point it was up 859% on the year. So just be careful, guys. I know weed is the future. I know that this is a great sector to be involved in, but when you see a stock up this much, it's so hard for me to give a recommendation, especially because I bought it at $5.48. I'm not going to be averaging up when it costs $18 a share. So yeah, just be careful. When I'm investing in a company like this, I'm trying to look for the Budweiser of weed, or like the Heineken of weed. I'm not looking for some short-term profit. I'm looking for a company that's actually going to be here long term to justify valuations like this. And yes, while we are early in the cannabis industry's life cycle, we are seeing huge valuations being priced in. So it's hard for me to say that we have the best value play when looking at a stock like this. I don't want to upset anyone with this opinion, but it's just my personal opinion that a lot is being priced into this, and you may be able to get this at a much better price. I say if it's around $10 a share, that's when you start eating it up, you know? But at $20 a share, I think it could be pretty overvalued. To keep that in perspective, that's about 4 times as much as I paid for this stock. So I got 4 shares of this stock, while you're getting 1 share of this stock for the same price, essentially. The math doesn't work out exactly that, but you know what I mean. I'm getting a lot more for what I paid for it than what you'd be paying for it right now. So while I know that's not like the best example of what to give when making a decision on this stock, that's just something to keep in mind, that there's a lot of people who are in on this stock early on, who are capitalizing off people who are getting into it now. So just be careful, because these valuations are high, and I definitely recommend you wait it out, see what happens with this merger first, see what happens in the next year, see if their revenues increase. You know, there's a lot of things that you can look for. You don't have to jump into this stock right away, especially a volatile stock where you can lose 15% of your money in a week. So be careful, make good decisions when investing in the stock market, and follow me so you can get some whether these valuations are good or not. That being said, that's going to be it for the video today. If you guys are not yet invested in the stock market, make sure you sign up for Webull using the link below. You get 2 free stocks. They're all valued up to $1,600 a stock. You get
Yep. And just put a little song, and I'm off this. Until next time. A little little song. I don't know if this. See.